Good morning. Happy to
Good
have you
morning.
today. Thank you, Alok, for joining us. We are underway with our new series, the AI Word Series Conversation Mode. And my guest today is Alok Bansal. He is the founder and CEO of Logicality. Alok and I have worked together over the course of the last year or so. And I'm going to turn it over to him to give a little introduction of himself. But thanks for being with us this morning, Alok.
Thanks, Brooke. Thanks for inviting me to be part of this conversation. I have spent most of my career at the intersection of mortgage banking and technology. And today I run Logicality, where we help mid market lenders make smarter, faster decisions using AI that is purposefully built for mortgages. In simple terms, we are building AI driven agentic workflows for mortgage and real estate finance. The idea is simple. Take the piles of documents that consume underwriters and ops team every day and turn them into decision ready information with people still firmly in control. But honestly, Brooke, my journey here has been all about learning when to move fast and when patience actually pays off.
And that's a great introduction to our word of the week this week. Thank you for that setup. So the context of the word series is to take words that we're very familiar with under the premise of artificial intelligence and that not everything is new. And our word this week is wait. So under the premise of the word wait, what's the first story or image that comes to mind in relationship to artificial intelligence in that word for you?
Okay, that's a great question. And since we are focusing on mortgage banking, I will say it in terms of the context of the mortgage banking. So when I hear wait, and having worked in this industry for decades, I see an underwriter staring at page 99 of income docs while another hundreds of files are waiting in the queue. So in AI, many leaders are waiting for perfect clarity, perfect regulation, perfect use case, perfect vendor. However, the cost of that waiting is that they lose the learning cycles. Their teams keep carrying the full load while competitors are quietly building the new muscle.
I think you bring up a great point in the context of artificial intelligence is that it's not just a technology side of things, it's our people side of things. And
Absolutely.
we need to obviously learn the technology, but we have to help our people come along. One of the things that I know about Logicality is its underlying foundation of artificial intelligence and what would be referred to from a technical term as AI native, and talks about what the advancements have been based on the evolving technology and how what's available today in intelligent document processing is different than terminology that may have been used in the past in RPA and OCR and some of those other terms that the mortgage industry is very familiar with.
You bring up an excellent point, Brooke. And here are my thoughts. See, in traditional, as we know, IDP stands for Intelligent Document Processing. In simple terms, it is the AI that reads thousands of documents, so your people do not have to read every line. Right? It identifies the document type, pulls out the key fields, and flags anything that does not look right. Now, we all grew up with rule engines and the basic OCR, and they were all brittle, right? You spent more time maintaining rules than doing the work. So modern IDP uses large models that can understand the context. So instead of saying, for example, if this fields equal X, then do Y. You say, show me any income that looks unstable, and the system can highlight it. So the new IDPs are the gap between what humans see and what the system sees finally closing. And that's what I see a big advancement in the IDP, what we used to have been seeing for years now.
And it still takes training, doesn't it? It's not magic. It may be close to magic, but it's not instantaneous, so to speak. There's still a process in setting up. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is that I think as humans, we'd all like that magic pill, right? We'd all like for it to be instant. And while it's better, there are still steps that need to be followed. Is that your experience?
And absolutely. And see, the mortgage document is the most complex piece of package, right? I have seen compared to any document in the industry, you have hundreds of pages. Some of them are handwritten, structured, unstructured. Some of them are scanned multiple number of times, right? Now, while of course it's much faster than what we used to traditionally create the machine learning models, training on thousands and thousands of doc, you don't need that level of training with latest computer vision models and large language models that you can use, but you still need the context specific training to minimize the hallucination and give you the right information that your people can make decision on.
And that
Very
accuracy side of things, right? I mean,
accuracy side
because
of the
at the
thing.
end of the day, that accuracy is critically important, regardless of where you happen to sit in the loan process. Ultimately, the ability to deliver an error-free loan, I don't know anyone whom that wouldn't be their goal, right?
Yeah, and absolutely. And see, here, as I have been myself been working on IDP for several years now, one thing commonly I see that in the industry, there are very good IDPs claiming 90% and more accuracies, right? But what I see is that that accuracy is actually at a data point level, right? Which in terms of quality, you can always say that 90% of the data is extracted correctly. But in the sense of whether you can make decision on that data, you need to have the confidence level so that that directly goes through and you can straight make decisions on that basis. So what I call it is straight through processing, right? So 90% of the accuracy doesn't mean that 90% of the documents do not need a human touch. And that's where,
That's a huge point. And I think it's important for, in the context of anyone who knows Bridge AI Advisory recognizes that I kind of beat the drum about the language that we use and validating that terms that are readily tossed around these days, that they mean the same things to the individuals in the room, not only as you're having the general conversation, but that also as decisions are being made, that clarity around the language and even, for example, 90% accuracy. Okay, well, what does that mean to you? And how does your system identify what that accuracy is? I think that's important regardless of what type of use case is under consideration. That's a great example of a word to level set on at the beginning of a conversation.
yeah, that's absolutely right.
So, in the concept of weighting, whether it be a cost or a benefit, how do you see that playing out in relationships to AI capabilities today?
Here are my thoughts, right? So you can have a good waiting versus a fear driven waiting. There's a healthy kind of waiting and a fearful kind of waiting. Healthy waiting is pausing to put guardrails in place, right? To ask, where does AI really add value? How do we
Yeah.
protect
RNI
customers?
to my heart, right? You know that.
Yeah, yeah. And how do we protect our people? That's a healthy waiting, right? But fearful waiting is when we use risk as a reason to postpone every decision. And that does not actually reduce risk. It just shifts the risk into the future. And in financial services business, if you wait too long to modernize, the risk shows up as operational errors and the lost business. So the choice is not about taking risk or avoiding risk. It is which risk you are willing to own as a leader.
I think that's an excellent point, and it cuts to the core of leadership, and not in a judgmental way, but in a reality check type of way. That as leaders, especially when it comes to a technological component, we've had significant reliance on IT, for example, and those that lead our IT teams, and that is definitively part of the equation, obviously in relationship to AI technology. But I think that's one of the foundational shifts with this evolution is that it is not only an piece, so much of it is in relationship to a change management process in being able as a leader to look at the broadest, highest level and look to see whatever the given use case is being chosen and what does that continue to cascade to so that we can look to our totality of an organization and say what may need to be upskilled or reskilled and in fact what may change as time goes on.
So what I was about to add on this is that weight actually should move from a default choice to a deliberate choice, right? Default waiting is let us postpone AI. And that's I see with many leaders today. But the deliberate choice is, and I think that's the right mindset, is moving early in learning, be patient in scaling. For example, do small pilots now before you bet the whole shop, but do not wait to start.
A great approach. Many in our audience would agree. No doubt on that one. Okay. So as you and I know, we could talk for hours, but we need to come to a close. And I like to close these sessions with something fun or valuable, something that you've seen, because I often talk about what's different about AI is that it's not a business component alone. It is part of our lifescape, whether we recognize it or not. So, do you have a tip or a tool that we might be able to apply?
Yeah, absolutely. A very simple tool that changed my life is that I use AI assistant as a thinking partner. So when I'm deliberating on a problem, on stuck on a problem, I write out my thoughts as if I'm writing and using AI as a colleague, as a sounding board, and let the model reflect it back. I still take the final call, but it makes me faster and calmer because now I have an assistant who never gets tired listening and answering patiently.
Well, you make me laugh because one of the things I've learned about using AI in what I refer to as a co-thinking capacity is that I have to remind it to not necessarily be pandering or nice to me all the time, right? Like, don't always
Yeah,
agree with me. It's okay. I want you to throw up the roadblocks so that we can all get better at strategically thinking through whatever it is we happen to be enumerating on that day.
absolutely, I agree.
Well, thank you for sharing your tip. I'm sure it's one that we can all take to heart, and we look forward to our next conversation. Have a great day.
Thank you, Brooke. It's great and fun talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.